Your love is. Hello, good afternoon. I believe that we can start. So thank you very much for being today with us, and we are glad that we have the necessary number of participants in order to be able to start the meeting quite quick. So you're participating in the extra session entitled Creativity Thinking. It's organized as part of the Open Art Studios of the project PALkonnect. We are going to have two presenters today with us, Mrs. Evita Stavrou from OECON Group and Ms. Alessia Gervasone from ESPRONCEDA. They are going to split the work and they are going to introduce you theoretically and practically to the creativity thinking. So the aim of the training today is to introduce the participants to the creativity as a throughout process and provide them with the methods that can be used to stimulate their creativity thinking process. We are going to answer to the questions, what is creativity? Creative through process and types of creativity thinking tools and techniques, practice to simulate creativity thinking. And some general rules. So I'm going to introduce some general rules. So we are recording the meeting. So you have already received an automatic message on your computer that by attending this meeting, you are giving your consent to being recorded. So if you don't want to see you, you can close your camera. And of course, if you are willing to see, you can open your camera. But just to know that we are recording the meeting because it is one of the needs of the project. Of course, except of that, we have an attendance list. In the chat, you have received the link for the participant list. So please enter the participant list and complete your names and the details about your participation. At the end, I'm going to share with you in the chat again the evaluation form of the meeting in order to be able to enter and spend 2-3 minutes in order to evaluate the information that have been shared with you. If you're not able to access the participant list or the evaluation form, those are going to be shared with you through email, like the email that you have received like an invitation for your participation. So the email that you have received for your participation is going to be used for any additional communication with you. And regarding the attendance list, here is the attendance list. If you open the link, you're going to have an access there. You can also draw your signature, copy paste it, or just leave it empty if you're not able to sign it. And the last part is the evaluation form, electronic evaluation form. You can scan it from the QR code available here or at the end of the meeting through the link that I'm going to provide to you. And some rules of communications. In case of questions, please first raise your hand and then unmute yourself. Your microphone should be muted during the session unless you're asking questions or you're requested from the presenter to answer question. The meeting will be recorded during the whole presentation implementation, automatic messages appearing on your screen. We are going to ask you to open your camera when we are taking photos, and please write your name and the name of your organization if you're connected with any organizations in order to be able to speak with you more easily. So we have entering participants and I'm giving them an access. It's the end of the meeting, so we are starting with welcome and registration. Then proceeding with introduction and theory to creativity as throughout process. It will be a little bit split among the two ladies. So we are going to start with a small brainstorming, introducing of yourself. Then we are going to do the introduction of the theory to creativity. Then we are going to have a short break and then the practical exercises to stimulate your creativity thinking. At the end, we are going to have a closing remarks and I'm going to share you the evaluation form. So this is from me. I wish you to have a pleasant stay with us and I hope that it will be fruitful training for all of you. So I'm giving the floor to the ladies that are going to proceed with our training. And if I'm not wrong, starting with Evita Stavrou.
Elena, thank you for such a lovely and coherent explanation of what the training is about and how we're going to proceed. And at this point, I would like to welcome everybody and express how grateful I am that everyone showed up in time so we can begin and arrive in this meeting. So I would like to, first of all, to welcome everyone and then invite you to make yourselves comfortable in the space you are, in the sense that we are going to talk about creativity, we are going to practice creativity. And it sounds like a hashtag word, but it is part of our daily life. But the first thing when we enter the creative process or when we want to absorb an information is to arrive in the space. And I'm sure that we all were doing a lot of other things before. So I want to give everyone like a couple of minutes to rearrange yourself how you're sitting. If you need to brew yourself a cup of tea, coffee, some water, just feel free to do that. If you need to remove your shoes, make yourself more comfortable, just to arrive in the space in a way that you would be comfortable in the next 2 hours in the way we are going to work. If you need to sit on the floor, adjust your computer, anything you need. So let's take the next 2 minutes of arranging ourselves. For example, I brewed myself a cup of tea before starting. When you're ready, you can just make a thumbs up by the reactions or raise a hand, which is, it's also visible somehow. But after 2 minutes where I will put a song, when the song stops is the time that I will start explaining then the next steps. So let me just put the music so you know when the music stops that we're back in the room. So I saw a couple of hands going up, and now we are back in the room. If we can proceed with the next slide, because I'm not sure I can control the slides. So now that you're adjusted, it's good if you have a piece of paper, a pen, and colorful markers available for the practical exercises. But if you don't, even a draft email would be okay to note things down, or a notepad on your laptop or computer. It's not that we have to complicate things that much. So now we can move on to the next slide. Now, since we are comfortable, we made our tea. I would like us all to take our time again to arrive with 3 rounds of breath. There is a GIF, and you can either follow the instructions, or I will also count. So we are going to have a breath of 5 breaths in, holding for 1 or 2, and then out. So breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I hope that you tried this exercise. It's a good exercise also when we count our breathing to relax our brain and organize our senses. And why are we doing that? So that we are fully present when we meet. And unfortunately, the difficulties of this online space is that I don't get to feel the energy of the group and support you in that way.
Jij testen?
Is there a comment, something? Okay. And I also wanted to address that we are facilitating a process with Alessia, that even though we have expertise and we're also working on our creativity in many, many different ways, we're just sharing the tools, the research, and what has been known to work for us and other humans. And for each person, the expression of creativity is unique. And maybe a tool that we present today will not do something for you, but at a later point, it could work out, or it could never work. So it's just different tools and the seed of exploration of different ways that our brain makes associations. So the next slide is, I think it's really important to know, who are we in the room? What do we expect? What is our stinky fish all about? When we say stinky fish, we mean, what is our fear? What is that if we don't say it out? What is our apprehension? What are we worried about this training? So in a couple of minutes, Elena will help us to separate the group in 4 to 5 participants per group, and each group will be assigned to 1 question. So group 1 will have the question, what has to happen here in order for you to leave this training? Satisfied?
I'm sorry. So we have 5 groups.
We have 5 groups.
5 to 6 participants, because we have more participants than expected. So we have 5 groups.
We can put, what if we put 7 people per group?
If it's possible. If you want, I can put 7 people per group. There will be 4 then.
Okay.
Okay, so 4.
Okay. Yes, 4 groups. Really good. So it's really nice that we're so many people, but it's good if we also know who is in the room. So that since we are 27 people, in the question who we are, I would like to invite people to answer with their name. Like, for example, I'm Evita. I don't know if someone wants to mention their capacity or their country, so it would be your name, your capacity and country, and what brought you to this training, or what blockage is that brought you to this training. What is a creativity block or a creativity for you? So for example, I'm Evita. I'm an upcycled paper crafter and a facilitator, and I'm facilitating this training. So that's what brought me here. What blocks my creativity? Perfectionism many times. And you can just, I can do it with the Sociocratic method. So I will be saying names from the participant just to present yourself, so everyone has the chance to speak. If someone doesn't want to voice up, you can just do the thumbs up as a reaction, and then I will just skip your name if you don't feel comfortable speaking. So we can start by Alessia and then Alicia.
So, hello everyone. I'm Alessia, and in reality, I mean, I have a lot of type of creativity, I think. Thanks to the art field, I love photography. But in the same time, for example, I love to be creative in writing projects, putting idea, and yes, also this part of creativity I love. What block me is sometimes I don't feel me like with a lot of potential, and that this puts me lower and this not help me to grow my to create a good environment in order to grow my idea, let's say something like this. Yeah.
Thank
you, Evita.
Alicia and then Anders.
Hello. I'm Alessia, and I am a graphic designer. So creative thinking is a vital part of my work, and I use it every day. And I think I really like it. And this is what blocks me, because I want to, to do it very well, to make something. So I think my will to do that, it's something which blocks me. And yeah.
Thank you. Anders and then Barbara. Barbara and then Bruno.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very well.
My name is Bruno, and I come from Italy, but it's like many years living in Spain. And what I think is that creative thinking for me is also how to approach to challenges in order to try to solve some issues that you might have within your personal life or at work simply. And I think I'm not bad with this kind of approach, right? But what it's blocking me sometimes is that I lack with I don't know how to say. Sometimes I go too confident within my what I already have. So sometimes I should be a bit more careful. So, but yeah, nothing else.
Thank you. Thank you. Bruno and Bruno spoke, so Christina and then Emmanuel. Barbara is about. So
Okay, I'm trying to get on a camera. Okay, so excuse me. My name is Barbara. I'm from Czech Republic. I live in Prague, and like in our theater, we use usually imagination for so excuse me. So I also we we, for example, we are authors of our plays. So I would like to know about the style, like yeah, like you mean that creativity thinking. For example, if it's like whole the life, or you can start it and stop it, or I would like to see this the style which is possible to mean this sentence.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So before we move to Christina and then Emmanuel, we have an answer in the chat from Petra because her microphone is not working. I'm Petra from Center for Center for Culture Activities, project manager, and I'm here to learn something new for creative thinking. Thank you for sharing, Petra. And Christina and then Emmanuel, and after Emmanuel, Erika. So if Emmanuel or Erika are ready to share, you can open your microphones.
I can share, it's fine. Hello everyone, my name is Erika. I work as a project manager at Census, and we have different culture and art study circles and adult education for boosting creativity. I'm not a I am a creative person, but I think my creativity block is that I think it should be in a certain way, and it should be not perfect, but it should be in the lines of what I think is art, etc. I think some people know what I mean. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Eva and then Fotini. Fotini and then Helen.
Helen wrote in the chat.
Yes. Sorry, yes. Hi, I'm Helen and I'm working with cultural projects as a project manager. I think stress is a factor that blocks my creativity. Thank you for sharing, Helen. Julia and then Katerina.
Hello, I'm Julia. I'm from Poland, and this year I graduated Academy of Fine Arts, and now I'm doing an internship in ESPRONCEDA in Barcelona. So in my case, creativity is most often used in planning, illustration, and projects. But I think my problem is that sometimes it's hard to me to think creatively on demand when I have to figure out something. Sometimes it's difficult to just think like that, to come up with some interesting idea. So I think that this is something that I need to work on.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Katerina and then Lisa and Kat.
Hello, my name is Katerina. I'm from Ukraine, city Odessa, near Black Sea. Now, before is war, I'm in Prague, and I'm a painter. I'm painting by acrylic, and I think I am a kids illustrator because I like digital painting. My problem is the fear about my not idealistic and my perfectionism and self-critics. I think that a lot of genius in the world and a lot of things created so good, and I can't to repeat or to make something better. So Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Lisa and then Manuela.
Hi, I'm Lisa and Kat. We are from the
Hey.
One Laptop now. We are from ESPRONCEDA right now in Barcelona, Spain. I'm from Ukraine originally, Zaporizhia, and Kat is from London. I'm connected to creativity through music, I guess, and poetry. And my creativity blocks are a lack of focus while doing something and lots of ideas that are not going to be alive, not go into reality. Yeah, that's my. What can you say?
I guess my creative blocks also is focusing on one thing, but then also that's kind of good as well because the distractions make you also creative. So yeah.
Thank you. Manuela and then Martina.
Manuela is not answering. I'm Martina. Should I start?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, okay. I'm from OMG. I'm also project manager, but I am partly creative person, and that can be visible in some of my writings, probably. What's blocking my writing and go to public with my writing is probably that I think that the things that I do are actually not relevant for other people. They are just relevant for me.
Thank you. Patricia and then Petra. But I think Petra wrote in the chat. So it's Patricia and then Professor Frinceanu.
And we have also Sevda and Olga that have raised their hands, so they are in the top of the list.
So Rafael and then Robert. Vaya and then Zlatko. And then Sevda.
Okay, if Zlatko is not here, I can share. My name is Sevda. I'm visual artist living in the Czech Republic. My expectations for today, that's what we're supposed to say, Evita.
No, it's basically if you have a creative blockage or how you define creativity is just I'm Sevda, what I do, and if there is something relevant either to the blockage or creativity as a concept.
Yes, I'm taking too many tasks. That's my problem. And if you're overloaded with tasks, you stop being creative, I think. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all for sharing and also being very open, because I think for creatives and non-creatives, it is a sensitive topic when we speak about our blockages or our imposter syndrome or how we're managing all these ideas and multitasking and the guilt of not bringing them to life. So at this point, if we are ready, I will invite you to go in the smaller groups. The point of the smaller groups is, for one, to be able to get to know each other better, and second, to have like a short discussion on what has to happen here in the next 1.5 hours, 2 hours we have together for you to leave this training satisfied, that this was a time well spent. And this question could also be reiterated in the sense, what do I expect from my facilitators? And if you want, or if there is time, you can also answer, what do you think about the question of creativity block? But basically, the question that is given to each group is, what has to happen here in order for you to leave this training satisfied. You will have 10 minutes, and then one from the group will present like the summary of the expectations or desires in the cohort, and then we will proceed to Alessia's presentation of the different definitions of creativity. So Ellen, if we're ready.
Yes, so I'm going to send you to 4 rooms. Please, if you have any problems, to return to the main room so I can send you again, or you can enter again the meeting and I can send you to the room. So you have 10 minutes sending you to the rooms. Okay, can you tell me if the groups appear correct or you have been sent to the mail?
Hola.
Because I can see that the rooms are open. We have participants in some of the rooms. Some other rooms have been closed. I don't know if there is technical issues.
I could join the room myself, but I exited because as a facilitator, it
My
doesn't
microphone.
if I'm in the room when they discuss the expectations. So I exited. I entered normally and then I exited the room to give room for the discussion.
Okay, but still I have the room 1, which is closed. And probably here in this room are the participants of the room 1. I'm trying to open it. Room 3 and 2 and 4 seems that they're working. Okay, let's see the chat. Alessia, it's better to go out and enter again. Hello, Martina. Can you inform me if you go out of the room automatically or something else?
Automatically. No, no, no. I didn't want to go out of the room. I was in the room too with Erika.
Alessia, can you hear me?
Okay, now yes. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me? Oh, now
yes.
No. Ah, okay,
Yes,
now
yes.
yes. Okay, okay. I'm lost a part. I don't know if you say something.
No, I'm just waiting for the participants to return to the main room. And
Okay.
when they return, we will do the harvesting of the discussion. What are the expectations? And one person from each group will speak, and then you can start your presentation.
Okay, okay. Sorry, because I was, I don't know, I had some trouble with microphone and camera, so I had to go out.
No, I think it's good.
Okay.
Alessia, can you hear us? Alessia?
Yes?
I cannot hear you.
No?
But she was not
Your
speaking.
microphone is not working.
Oh my God.
But I can hear her. I can hear her.
You hear me or no?
Yes, I hear you. I hear you. Elena doesn't hear you, I think.
Ah, okay.
Elena, can you hear me?
Evita, are you able to hear me?
I can hear both of you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I can hear you too. Alessia, can you hear us?
Yeah, now yes.
Okay, yeah.
Now
okay.
everything's okay. Okay.
Okay, so actually the participants are going to return the main room. I do not have a picture if there is something with the rooms happen because some rooms close automatically, some others are active. So let's see if they were able to interact because sometimes it's happening.
Yes.
So they should be all returning to the main room. Here they are.
We are almost back.
Now we are waiting for the room to be back. Okay, you said you can start interaction with them because there is a different process that each one of the participants is going through based on the internet connection. So,
okay, so welcome back. We are back. I hope that we are a bit more alert, that the juices are flowing, that it was nicer to be able to be in a smaller group and at least see each other and interact a bit. So now I want to invite one person from each group to just share with the rest of us what it is that would make them feel as a group, or what was the summary of their discussion, either in the terms of blockage or what do they expect. So whichever group wants to start first, you can just open your microphone, and I think each group can have like 2 minutes to share before we move on to the next part. So group 2. Anyone that wants to represent?
I don't know what our group number was, but me and Martina in our group, we discussed a little bit to find time. That this is a proper way of us finding time to boost our and unleash our creativity. That we discussed a little bit. If you want to fill in anything, Martina, feel free.
Thank you.
And we also talk and expect actually discover how to unleash our creativity.
Thank you. From another group, feedback?
In our group, we discussed and we came to this conclusion that our expectation is to be focused and how to connect creativity and money.
That's a tough one. I don't think we will tackle the connection with money, but maybe it comes in a creative way. You never know. Maybe by unleashing it, we will have creative finances as well. But it's a good one. Let's see if we reach that by the end of these 2 hours. Any other feedback you would like to share from the discussions and groups you've been? Then thank you. And with a lot of excitement now, Alessia will share with us a research she has done about creativity, because we all have a different definition or concept or notion of what that translates to us. So Alessia will share a presentation on the topic with us. So Alessia, the floor is yours.
Allora, hi to everyone. One moment. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, now I have some problem with this stop. No, because, okay, here. Okay, just one moment. Now I lost you. Allora, we can do like this. Share the screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
No.
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 What happened? Allora, close share. No, open share. Okay, let's see, desktop. Okay. Now you should see my screen, no?
Now we can see.
Yeah, correct.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. So I hope to don't be boring. If I'm boring, you can interrupt me. And nothing. We can continue with the exercise because we will have now a little introduction of what is creative thinking, what are the main principles or in order to develop a creative thinking and a creative idea also. And then after that, we will have like some exercise with Evita in order to put this, let's say, theory in practice. So I can start. So what is creativity? So creativity is, as you know, the ability to generate or recognize idea, alternative or opportunity that can be useful in, problem solving, communicating with other, and engaging ourselves in other type of activity, for example, no? Creativity, as you know, is a valuable, as you say, also life skills, because it can be a useful tool for developing, a new idea, increasing our efficiency, and devising solution to complex system. In a world of, let's say, constant growth, change, in a world that it's full of technology, and this kind of technology put like, transform our perception of time in a fast way of action. The ability to think creatively and innovatively is an essential skills. It can sometimes be difficult, to step back and reflect in a fast-paced environment, or when, for example, when large amount of information have to be assimilated. But providing meaning or communicating new idea in an innovative and engaging way, approaching problem from new perspective and producing, let's say, innovative solution are all highly, as you know, demanded, because they can produce innovation, and of course they can produce diversity. So creativity is something that all of us we have. It is just a question of how we express it. And also creativity, we can say that is a skills that help us to better understand the world we live, and to draw observation, use this kind of observation in order to compare them with the existing knowledge that we already have, and then after this try to form new idea and applicate this kind in order to applicate this kind of idea to new previously project. The idea of creativity, let's say, today's means, as you know, thinking outside the box, to think imaginatively, using new idea, let's say, instead of traditional or already expected idea. Understanding, we can understand that there might be limit to what you can do, and creativity is also trying to overcome the border and improving also the result that after you can find. Creativity involves more than just one thinking, one think. It is taking those ideas and develop all them together. For example, if it is an item or a project that you, I mean, I don't know, you want to make, you wish to make, then you have to, let's say, to imagine this idea, design this idea, and then build this idea or put it in practice. I mean, creativity is not only the ability to have new and generate new idea, but is also the ability to put it in practice, to prove that this kind of idea are working. This also is I mean, I think that one of the most difficult things. There are many definition of creativity in literature, in academia. For example, I mean, we can take the Renaissance time that was like really an example of a period of growing of idea, with an explosion of idea associated with the interaction of the different discipline of the different discipline of humanity, like art and science together, for example. Or for example, another period is the Industrial Revolution. Or for example, we can look we can take a look to our modern contemporary times, where we have an explosion of new technology and new interaction between, of course, human and the new technology. In this slide, I put some definition of creativity created or to buy from some important, let's say, writer, critic, or thinker also. We can read, just take a look to one or two of these. For example, creativity is the process of change, of development, of evolution in the organization of the subjective life. Then we have creativity is the forming of associative element into new combination which either meet requirement or are in some way useful. Then we have creativity denote a person capacity to produce new or original idea, insight, invention or artistic product which are accepted by experts as being of scientific, aesthetic, social or technical value. Creativity is imagination with responsibility, and this I like this also because is with responsibility. I mean, also is not only to inventing something new, but also to test that this kind of new invention can be self-responsible about the current period of time or about the environment in what we are immersed now. So creativity, finally, we can say that creativity is generative, productive, and also is something open to alternative. Okay, then as you know, I think that you can say that creativity is a really complex topic. Some research has discovered that the meaning of creativity, also of the research in order to enhance your creativity, include several thought process. Besides what we have already discussed, research has indicated that more process go into creativity, and one of these, I mean, some of these are the following. For example, cognitive flexibility is a thought process that stimulates creativity because it's like the description is thinking of multiple concepts at the same time, or you can effortlessly shift between two different ideas. Then we have the abstract thinking, understanding and thinking about complex concepts which are real but are not linked to concrete things, people or objects. And for example, the idea, in this case, we have the idea of, for example, of freedom, or the idea of humor is something really abstract. Then we have the thought, the process thought of planning, so thinking and organizing idea and activity to achieve a certain type of goal. Then we have working memory, or short-term retention, processing and management of information. So finally, we can say that creativity is the ability to imagine or invent something new or valuable, where the value may be personal, may be societal, financial, or we can be also a some combination of this type of word, let's say. Creativity is not the ability to create something out of nothing, but we can say that is the ability to generate a new idea by combining, changing or reapplying existing idea also together. With the development of science and technology today, we can visually, let's say, see what happened in our brain. No, if we go in Google research. I mean, we can make a research about what happened, what kind of neuron are stimulated when we are trying to think creatively. And when it comes to creativity and any other skill, let's say both mental and physical part are originate and put together in the brain. When we wanted to learn a new skill, it is the neuron that going off in a particular part of our brain until what you are learning become second. We can say that became second nature. Sometimes this process it's easier for some than other, let's say, and all of this depend on how the brain form connection, or how our brain network connect all the particle neuron together in order to increase our creative process, and in order to generate to allow the brain to generate new idea. So creative thinking skills are techniques used to look at one particular thematic from a different point of view and create new perception of these of these issues, of this problem, of this thematic. Is something that we can learn, of course, but is something that also we have already. So we can improve our process of learning this kind of creative thinking process. Is like a play of word. Then we can say there are, I put in this slide, I don't know, I was thinking that it can be useful to have some, to give you some types of creative thinking. I mean, we are speaking about creative thinking that is a super big thematic, no? But what kind of thinking are existing actually? For example, we have the convergent thinking, The convergent thinking is where you use a variety of different information and you look for a single solution, for example, to one problem. Then we have another type of thinking is the divergent thinking. This involves coming up, for example, with multiple ideas for a single solution. For example, how many applications can you think one specific object has? Some idea can be conventional, while other can be more original, which closely link this process to creative thinking as well as problem solving, for example. Then we know that divergent and convergent thinking are the most common way to foster more creative thought. Divergent thinking is like a traditional brainstorming session where you come up with as many possible solutions as your imagination will allow, let's say. Meanwhile, convergent thinking take, we can say, a more logical approach, encouraging you to gather facts and discover the most common solution to a problem. Then we have I put just like other two, just to give you an example of this, the inspirational thinking, these inspirational thinkings, we can link this kind of think to the imagination network, let's say, and is more focused on imagining the best case scenario to find a new way to solve, for example, a problem. While lateral thinking involve letting idea flow in a step-by-step. Inspirational thinking is like an, as I say, imagination network. We can, I don't know, to give you more like that is the imaginational example, but it's something where the place where you daydream and imagine scenario and the idea where you dream in your brain. I mean, is this imaginational, inspirational thinking, imaginational thinking, and go behind the border. I mean, and let the imagination flow. And then we have the last, that is the aesthetic thinking, that is focused on reframing the problem to see its inherent beauty and value, and like I don't know, in this case maybe it's more linked to the art, because it like looking at painting. Yes, Elena?
I'm sorry.
And these are more or less that we have a lot of type of thinking, but I was thinking that was interesting to try to give you this kind of input, no? Sometimes it's really very difficult to stimulate creative thinking, and you feel like, I mean, you have your head in the clouds and no idea, all the things are flat, but in reality, there are techniques that can be used to stimulate this creative thinking process. Creative technique represent method, let's say, that promote creative thinking, their associated skills, such as idea generation, open-mindedness, and problem solving, for example. We can say that in the workplace, you may use this technique for both collaborative and independent activity. For example, a team developing a new product, service, or initiative may use creativity technique to generate innovative ideas in order to develop a project or solve a particular kind of problem. Here, I I mean, I give you, there are really a lot of type of tools that you can use, and after with Evita, you can put in practice your some of these kind of tools. But just to give you an input, because maybe when you come back at home, but come back at home not because now you are at home, but maybe tomorrow, I don't know, in another moment of your life, you can use it. So we have the first that, of course, maybe you know, because it's the most common, is the brainstorming. So brainstorm involves a multidisciplinary group meeting, of course, together, to propose and generate ideas to solve a problem. The emphasis with brainstorming is more on the quantity rather than the quality of the idea. And this is important because during this session, let's say group session of brainstorming, criticism of another person's idea are really strictly forbidden, because anyone can have the possibility to speak and have the possibility to propose something new, no? Connect to the problem that of course we or they want to solve. In fact, brainstorming is normally a group activity undertaken by interdisciplinary team. You can use it at work, at school, or anyway, you can use it also in your daily life, because it's interesting and really funny tools. Then we have, of course, mind mapping. With mind mapping, participants write a problem statement in the center of, let's say, of a whiteboard or a piece of paper. Next, they have to add a related concept or solution in the area surrounding the problem statement, drawing line between them to try to note to create the connection between the different words. This ideation tool represents a network of ideas and how they can be connected, enable the participant to visualize the relationship between the concept and between their idea. It's super interesting. Then we have the mood board. A mood board is something more, let's say, visual. Normally it's used by the advertisement company, or yes, publishing company or something, or in the cinema also, for example. And a mood board is a collage that can contain image, text, and material, and simple material, often used by artists and designers. And let's say that this kind of the mood board can serve as a source of inspiration for other work projects. Personally, I had the opportunity to create some mood board in my past. It was really funny, because really you decided to work, for example, only with some color, and then you have to put together different material, photo, shape, in order to generate a concept. But this material, photo, shape should be connected by the color that you have decided before. And so finally you have a sort of graphical and really also nice, aesthetically nice, whiteboard, something like this. Interesting. So if you have the possibility to try to use it. Then we have, of course, the storyboard. Then, as you know, the storyboard was invented by Walt Disney in the 1928. They developed the storyboard in order to, yes, of course, to give like a image, to give him image to their project idea, that in this case were like history or something, a novella or something like this. And this is also super useful because I mean the idea, the concept, and the words that you are putting just like written by name, you are starting to give them a real shape thanks to the drawing process. And then this is the last that I put as example is like most used in the management, let's say, part, is the SWOT analysis. That is a graph. It is super interesting because when you have a project, SWOT is strengths, weakness, opportunity, and threats. And I mean, you can put all these under this 4 adjective. All the you can create an analysis of your project, let's say, no? And a SWOT analysis is designed, let's say, to facilitate a realistic, fact-based, data-driven look at strength and weakness of an organization, initiative, or, for example, within its industry. Last but not least, but we are more or less finished. Anyway, have you question or something that you wanted to add? Please just raise the hand. And so the last slide will be related to, of course, to art. So how art can develop our creative thinking. And art, as we know, is a powerful educational tools which can, I mean, amplify the power behind a concept or an idea. Not only then put it can act. I mean, we know that art can act as a catalyst into empowering our creativity capacity, no? When we are exposed to art environment, it helps us engage in abstract and analytical thinking, for example, that we were speaking before. We became more receptive, let's say, we became more open to go out of the box and to create a new approach, no? And to go like more far with the things. Research has shown that creative thinkers are better able to break away from judgment about people, for example, and situation. They have a higher degree of independence, self-control, uncertainty tolerance, and better self-discipline in their work environment. All forms of art are powerful tools in the process of empowering people into being more creative, self-secure, of self-confident with themselves, and eager to embrace, let's say, the experimentation. Through art, we can learn the fundamental process of discovering something, of the problem solving, or thinking and creating, of course. So we can come back to the slide before when we were speaking about what is creativity, no? Creativity is, yes, it's the power to generate a new idea, to go, as we said, out of the box. But also then, that is, maybe this is the most difficult part, is to try to put in practice the idea that we thought about, no? And art can help on this. It is also an unforgettable, of course, tool to teach and train values, virtues, idea, and new concept. A great approach to our creativity and self-development. But finally, this is, the last slides. So is how art can boost, our creativity, no? We know that anyway, creativity is the driving force of also of all artistic process, and we can say that is enhanced by art in three different ways. First of all, art give the opportunity to find multiple solutions to a definite problem. The second, there is a greater use of imagination in the world of art. And for example, the third, art encourages motivation. This motivation helps people to be creative and make the idea to emerge, because art is able to create like a good environment, no? When you are in a good environment, the idea can flow, and art can help this. For example, in different way, thanks to the color as a catalyst. If we navigate, for example, intentionally, learning about color can help people develop vocabulary, complex thinking, and keen of, let's say, observation. Use a variety of tactile experience to help gain an understanding of the nuance of color that will be missed if left to a computer program, or I don't know, we can think like this. Exploring color using accurate vocabulary and connection to real thing will help people internalize a deeper understanding of a concept that many persons understand only in a more high level, let's say. As you think deeply about color and you observe it intentionally through a variety of experience, you can gain a new perspective on your rapidly expanding world. Color can improve our complex thinking and associative skills, for example, no? Learning about the variety of color and nuance in nature allow, let's say, our brain to accept that there is a great variety of everything in nature. It does not come drawn to a few major color, races, religion, languages, or culture, because we are all connected. Everything is a palette of nuance. So we can, thanks to the color in art, we can start to see the shadow. We can start to see the shadow between the things that we have in the reality. Became aware of that train of our brain, like help us to be less judgmental, we can say, no? Accepting the different make feel less pressure and make the things more easy. Yeah, so for this is interesting. And then we have, of course, the abstract thinking. Creativity in its core is about problem solving, no? We know, probably we speak about it before. Problem solving is often about connected to abstract thinking. And the exposure to art is what it takes to develop it. Abstract thinking is developed by learning to see things through a new filter, or we can say a lens that is authentic and completely ours. We give our interpretation of something. In this case, for example, in the case of the art of a paint, of a sculpture, no? By observing and analyzing art, we learn that there is no one way for doing the things. Nothing is just right or wrong. This realization can facilitate us into looking for different approach to daily challenges, for example. Clearly, there are many ways to create something, including coming up with a new solution, make us more self-confident to try and less afraid to fail. We were speaking about fail before a lot, not a lot, but yes, a little bit at the beginning when you present yourself, no? And then we have the last, that I found interesting because, this is my point of view, of course, then there are a lot of different kind of skills that can be enhanced thanks to art and creativity. Observing art, for example, as we say, connecting you to the world. It is important to train our observational skills, and looking at an artwork help us to see the detail and allow us to enter in a new world that in this case is the world of the artist. This activity has helped us to develop a new point of view and expand our perspective of possibility, no? Observation is one of the key elements of the creativity. When we deal with art, no matter if it's a painting, if it's a sculpture, if it's a statue, if it's a photography, a digital art, a music, or whatever, we can train our observational skill set. Learning to observe the data can help us look on people and situations from a new perspective, a different point of view. With a taste for details, it is much more probable to spot a perspective life or new business opportunity, for example, no? Because we are also more open. Similarly, observing art improves creativity because it connects you to the world and also to new world, as we say. When you observe other art, you get a glimpse into their world, their experience, their opinion, and their passion. It gives you another data point to help you get a clearer picture of the broader human experience that we are. And to close this, I found these phrases that I was thinking was interesting to share with all of you. It is our planet face incredible challenge that will influence the future generation. There is a necessity for intervention and change in almost every sector of our life. In order to tackle these challenges or opportunity, creativity can be used as the tool for the transformation. And that's it. Thank you very much for your attention and your patience. And now, if you have question, I can stop to share the screen.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I want to ask the participants if you like to have a 10 minutes break or you want to continue with the practical part and the exercises.
Yes. Then now we can go with the exercise with Evita.
Just because on the program it's linked that we can have a short break. So if the participants feel like they want to have a short break, we can make a short break. Otherwise, we can proceed. So please, can you react with something if you want to proceed or if you want to make a short break?
I think it's healthy if we do like a 5-minute break. And in this break, I invite everyone to stand up from your seat. If you don't have a lot of space, shake your hands, do something physical. If you cannot even do your hands because the office is small, just blink your eyes very strongly, like, and open. Do something physical in this break or whatever other physical need you need. Let's take like 5 minutes because we will be short on time also to respect everyone's time commitment for the workshop. So, Elena, are you okay with the 5 minutes?
Yes, of course, of course. So we will be here in 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, so I believe that we are back. There were 5 minutes for our break.
Perfect.
Hope that you have time to rest a little bit.
I hope that everyone is back. If you're not back, you're hearing my voice, which should be drawing you to the computer by now, because it will be so much fun. And okay, I will have so much fun. I hope you do as well. I want to circle back to the first introduction you did when you were like, who am I? Why I'm here? What's my blockage? And I took some notes, and most of these notes were also in my head every time I tried to act in a creative way, and they resonated as if I was hearing myself speak. So we had imposter syndrome, is my work good enough to go public syndrome, stress, I cannot be creative on demand. How can someone ask me to be an artist or creative on demand? Or that I'm so good and established in my field that I am able to solve the challenges, but I'm a bit too confident, which means I don't innovate. I go the safe way. Also, what's the lack of potential? Generally, the lack of time, the multitasking, and how do you choose your best idea? So those were some of the concerns of our collective group today and what brought us to this training. So based on that, I'm adjusting a bit my presentation. I will start with, let's say, a radical thought, and this goes to the established artist. So when you feel that you're too confident and your creativity tends to go to the same thing, what happens is that we have a product that works, we have an audience that is used to our image, and this is what gives us recognition. So we get a lot of cling, cling, this is good for me, you get a lot of reward. But as an artist, you feel stuck in that image. As a creative, you feel stuck in that condition. And this could happen if you are an artist that paints, if you're a musician, or even you are in a marketing agency and you have to make campaigns. So creativity could get you stuck on the successful path because it works, but you feel like you have to innovate. And then it's very hard to get your mind there. So then you have to be brave enough and have a mission. I'm planning to fail. I will follow 10 steps to failure. I will do things that are opposite of what I'm doing. I will write, my mission is to write the 10 most horrible ideas or concepts around what I want to do. I will mix colors I would never mix. And then when you have those ideas, you go to them and say, okay, what is the best part about this horrible idea? Oh my God, there is nothing, it's horrible. No, but there must be something in it. It cannot be just horrible. How can I mix it? Or you make a drawing that is the most horrible you've ever done, and then you try to improve it. But this is for the established artist. And it's something that actually came to me as advice a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, yeah, that's a good thing. I should organizedly fail sometimes. But now, to go back on the concept of creativity, is that we can trick our brain. We can trick our brain to start making connections in different ways. And we can do that with very easy warm-ups. So in the group, when we presented, we had people that are writers, we have people that are visual artists, we have people that are crafters, and others that are just project managers and creative ideas. Luna, could you share my presentation? Please. Or I will try. I can try, but I'm not good at this.
Yes, you can share your presentation.
Okay.
You can take the control.
Yes. Okay. So here we are. Good. So what I want you to do now is to step out of your comfort zone. So if you are a writer and mainly your medium of expression is writing, I will invite you for the next 5 minutes to draw doodles or follow this video that I sent that has tutorials on how to draw a cat and try to draw a cat. If you are already someone that draws, the invitation is to write a short paragraph of 5 sentences or a short poem or a song or something. And again, I will give the topic of a cat because right now we have to be a bit effective. If you are a crafter, you don't use your hands, you either draw or write or try to compose a rhythm. Or if you never move with your body, in those 3 minutes that I will give you now, you try to create a short choreography, something that you've never done before, and you're really, at least in your mind, bad at it. So you have 3 minutes and use a medium that is not your medium. So time starts from now, and I will not put music because you have the tutorials. I will just make the sound click, 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 click when the time is up. So 3 minutes start from now. There is a link in the chat. Is everyone clear with what I'm asking as a first exercise? Does anyone need clarifications? Could you hear me, or was I speaking on mute all this time?
We can hear you.
Okay,
and I'm
so
just allowing the cat.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good. Because I was like, shh, what did I do? So the time starts from now, and the clink, clink, clink will give the sound that is done.
I was saying, with my presentation, everyone is died.
No, I think with your presentation, everyone has an idea of the different ways of thinking, and now we're putting them practical because we're using cognitive, we're using descriptive, we're using observation, we're using all those ways that you described theoretically. It's just that now we put them down and we see the tricks that we
Let's
can
do
trick our
it.
brain. Cling, 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 cling. Our time is up. Normally, I would give you 10 minutes and I would have you search your tutorial or whatever you want to do. But right now is more showing the tools and things you can do. I will share what I did. I mean, normally I'm a crafter. I'm definitely not an illustrator, but I have a favorite drawing that I do. When I draw or doodle, I will do this. I don't know if it's possible. I will do this little flower. So for this exercise that I gave you, because I didn't want to cheat with things I already did, I tricked my brain by just using, I'm a right-handed, so I drew this flower with my left hand. And it was really hard to hold the pencil. It's the first time I tried. But I'm very proud of it. I can give the floor to 1 or 2 people if they want to share how this experience was for them as a first thing they had to do, so pressed in time. But just 1 or 2, you can just open your microphone before we proceed to the next. Okay. So the concept of this, the reason that I ask you to do something out of your medium is because to be creative, usually it's because we need to find a solution. We need to make a different connection, something that we didn't do before. And you cannot do it if your brain is in you have to feel safe, you have to have your space, you have to have your materials, but you need to be able to make connections that you never did before. That's how you become more creative. You need to see this cup, not as a cup, but maybe as a boat. And this is the boat that the mouse is flying in an illustration of a children's book. This will not just come if you're just using it as a teacup all the time and everything you do is in your comfort zone. So by pushing yourself in a medium that you're not familiar, that you're insecure, that you have to observe, it makes you a bit, it puts you in the observant thinking. It also reduces your failure syndrome, because first of all, it's not your expertise. It's okay if it doesn't look perfect. But then whatever you do, you feel a bit satisfied, like, I did that. I have 3 sentences. It's a bad poem, but I did that poem. It gives you the boost as well. Is it silly? Yes. Does it work? Yes. At least for me, or maybe I'm easier to trick. Another exercise that I love is write down 20 uses for a paper book. It doesn't have to be a paper book. It can be a cup. So look at something that you have in front of you now. You can choose it to be the mouse of your laptop, the cup that you drink tea, your phone, a notebook. I have random things, a pen. And I'm giving you 5 minutes to write 10 uses, because the time is precious, 10 different uses beyond the obvious. So if it's a pen, you cannot use to write things, anything else but write. If it's a cup, not to store coffee in it. So you have 5 minutes and you can write, let's take the paper book, so then we can collaborate on what are the ideas, and then we can move to the next. Time starts from now. Go.
So we needed to give, to take an object to
You
rethink
cannot
it.
choose an object. You write down 10 different uses for a paper book or for another book.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. And you can also type them in the chat. Feel free, whatever use you find for whatever object, type it in the chat, so then it's communicated to the others. The ones that are still brainstorming, don't read the chat. Do your own work and then you read the chat, so you don't get affected. But you can go, the size doesn't matter. It can go as huge or as small as you need it to be. Each one should come up at least with 10. Time goes from now, and I will be quiet for the next 3 minutes. 5 minutes is too much for me to be quiet. Go, 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 go. You can do this. One more minute. Cling, 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 cling. Do we have anyone that has 10 different uses? Anyone that found 10? Nine? 8? 7? I can see that Emmanuel found 6. Helen found 6. That's good. For a first time, it's good. I will read some, and I would like someone that wants to share their list also to open the microphone after. So with a pen, you can stop your hair, make a beauty pendant, roll paper into a tube. Katerina, we have the similar technique. Good job. Stir the paint, poke your nose. A flower base can be used as a hat, as a cooking pot, as a helmet, as a shoe, as a lamp, as a bag. A pen can be a measuring stick, can be stirring your coffee, can be used as a pole for a pole dancer. Who else wants to share something about the object they chose? If someone took the book, for example. Okay, the point is that the longer you stay in this exercise, and you can do it also, the traditional exercise is with the paper clip, how many uses you get for a paper clip. And the more often you do this exercise, and the longer you stay in it, the crazier the uses become. So, for example, the pen can become a slide, a water slide. So it's a huge pen and it's a water slide that you go through, or it can be, I don't know, binoculars to look at the stars, or it can be sticks that you walk with them and you do Nordic sticks because it's huge pens, or it's for sticks for little ants, or it can be a capsule where people get pushed in different universes. But if you say, I have to find 20 different uses of something, and I will spend 15 minutes doing that, eventually your brain opens up. And to ideas that don't make sense in this universe, don't make sense in our reality. But that's the thing, that nothing was invented or created based on what made sense. And I love this exercise because even if I do it, I moved the slide further, sorry. Even if I do this exercise very often, I'm always amazed by the different uses I find for the same object. Or that sometimes, even though I did the exercise, I was such a good student last time, I found 20 different uses for this pen. But today, I cannot think for the life of me more than 3. Today, I'm stuck. It doesn't just go, it doesn't matter how long I stay with it. In a group, it's really fun when we start comparing. And the first feedback we get is that the first 5 or 6 uses are similar because we go to the obvious alternatives, to what is functional. And then it starts going with parallel universe, propelled, digging, cooking, flying. It goes in a more surreal thing that makes it also interesting. And you appreciate the group dynamics. So I do invite you to try this exercise. If you do that for like 10 minutes, and then you stand up from your seat and then go back to the problem that you were dealing with or the blockage, most probably you will see it with different eyes. Because you pushed your mind in thought patterns that we don't go because they're not practical, because we consider them a waste of energy. We cannot always think all the alternatives. We have to live in life. So what if we try this and it doesn't work? Stand up and take a walk. If it doesn't come, you cannot push it. Pause. It's okay to do nothing. You can be thinking of a problem, doing all this exercise and still not moving ahead. That means you need a pause. And maybe if you say it's enough and you pause, then when your brain relaxes, that's when that most probably the solution will kick in. Pausing, taking a walk are very important parts of unleashing your creativity. Listening to your thoughts, even not thinking about the problem. You don't have time for a walk, stand up from your chair, go around it, go to the water cooler, shake your hands, stop dealing with what you were dealing, because you're just going in the same circle there. It won't solve itself. It won't evolve itself. Does it always work? No. But it's not as if we have a recipe that we put 5 pinches of salt and then, oh, we are Picassos. We're doing this. It's perfect. No. So other than all the exercises I'm giving, I also invite you to accept that pause and movement support. And another thing that supports us is talking about it. What Alessia described as brainstorming. Another way of brainstorming is talk about your problem or the ideas that you are playing in your head to someone that is in your industry, to someone that is not in your industry and doesn't have your vocabulary to understand what you're saying. So you would have to simplify it, and then you would have to describe it in different ways. If you have the time and energy also, and there is the possibility, describe it to a child or someone older. See what they have to say about your idea. How do they look at it? What is their feedback? It doesn't mean you take it, it's just that you get a different perspective that you wouldn't have. So collective expression, it's important. And it doesn't mean that it's about rejection or acceptance. It's about getting different points of view, but even yourself explaining your project, your idea, your creation, what you're struggling with, the process of putting it into words for a different audience makes you process it. By trying to explain it to others, you also explain it to yourself, because your brain is still listening. Your creativity is still listening. And yes, I'm trying to solve it for someone else, so I want to have a result for this person, but at the same time, you are your audience. And this many times works amazingly. And it's all about doing things different. So now I'll have you another assignment for you, and I missed the slide. Now I'm learning how to navigate this. Good. We went the 20. Good. The other assignment is to pick up from where you're sitting 2 different objects. For example, I don't know, now it's a bit calling me out, but the box with the sweets that you have next to your thing and your mouse, and try to come up with as many new uses as possible for the combination. So it's similar with the paper exercise. At this point, because I understand we reached 7 p.m., if people have other engagements that need to step out of the meeting, it's okay, I understand. and I respect and I'm grateful for the time we shared together. I am willing to share more exercises for whoever wants to stay. So I'm just giving the option if someone wants to step out, it's okay to step out. I will just continue with a couple of exercises I want to share, and I'm sure that you can also get part of the recording if you want to receive them after. So not to have fear of missing out as well if someone has another engagement. And with having said that, I give you the next 5 minutes to try to combine these two different objects. When I want to make this even worse as a challenge, then I will choose 2 or 3 random objects. And it's not just to find possible combinations, they have to solve a global problem. I will need to find a way that with these 3 objects, I will stop global warming, or I will bring world peace, or I will bring equality and eradicate sexism with these 3 objects. And I have to have a pitch good enough to present to the Shark Tank. And I give me 30 minutes. In this case, because we don't have the time, I'm giving you 5 minutes to combine the 2 objects that you chose. And the time starts from now. For the question of Emmanuel, if one of your uses is to solve a specific problem, you can use it to solve a specific problem. Also, for the ones that want to exit the meeting, please complete the evaluation form below before, so we also have an evaluation of the meeting. Thank you. Gling, 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 gling. So I invite you to share, if you want, in the chat your combinations. I'm also sharing mine because the exercises that I give you, I also follow them. It's not as if I'm facilitating a process with tools I use. It doesn't mean I have the answers, and I also enjoy this process. So this is also what I did by combining this espresso cup and this pencil. Feel free to share your own as well. For example, Emmanuel says that I combine a candle and a speaker. It does not solve the problem, but what it does is that it lets you hear the sound of fire moving depending on the temperature and the wind. So you basically hear the fire. So it is a combination that is new. Anyone else wants to share their combinations? It's hard, honestly. It's not an easy exercise. It sounds like a simple task. For our age group, it's hard. If I give this exercise to a 4-year-old, they will be able to combine these objects for 30 different uses in less than 10 minutes because they are not conditioned on what the functionality of things are. Most of the children, at least. Okay, so I think that you're either very committed on what you are combining your objects to, or nobody wants to share something more. But that was the point of, you can either think different uses or combine things, which makes you see the capacities of different objects from a new light. And then you start pushing your brain, and after a point, you start having fun. In my case, I started having fun when I started thinking, okay, enough with the functionality. Yes, I can use it as drums and can make music, whatever, easy peasy, the obvious. I can use it in my hair and combine it. Yes, easy peasy. If I put it like this, trap for insects, trap for tiny creatures, because, you know, I'm a geek. I want to have ticks on my list as a good student. So I doubled something. And then I was like, oh, but it could be a shelter for a homeless tiny dog that I cannot take home. And if I leave it in the street, it could go in. And I was like, but it's a pencil. So what if this is a magic cave that is balancing on a pencil, but you can only enter if the poem you wrote moves the soul of the espresso cup. So if the espresso cup is very motivated and moved from the poem, then you can enter. And I'm sure that if I would spend like 5 or 10 minutes more, and if you would spend 5 or 10 minutes more, you would start having these ideas that are very, not just innovative, but also satisfying and fun as a process. Emmanuel shared, also amplified the light with some specific sonic waves. I would love to tell you the science behind it, but it's a secret text. Sorry about that. So we don't want to be taken into high prison because of our creativity, but see, we can also innovate for humanity in this way. What else? I'm trying to share a variety of tools, not just, these are easy that you can do on your own, and it does affect your mindset. It does feel like, oh my God, why am I doing this? But if you do this and then you go back to whatever you were doing, already you're approaching it from a different mentality. And you can do this also in your team when your team gets stuck. We had a couple of writers in the group, and they mentioned about writer's blockage, or when they write something and they find it insignificant or that is not valuable. I don't have a lot of advice on the imposter syndrome, because I'm not even sure that we can ever really get over it. But when, as a writer, you have a blockage, a good exercise is to visit a character or a writer or a creator that inspires you, that you respect, that you love. Take a paragraph or 3-4 sentences that you particularly love from this writer, and then try to write what you wanted to express, but recreating their style or structure without copying. So you have to follow the same style and sentence structure, but you have to use different words and characters. And you can do it with your favorite authors. You can choose a different author per day, different topic, different style. If it's not about fiction, you can go with different travel journalists or different project managers or different concept notes. And then you will get a feeling of how they craft the prose. And after you get this feeling, somehow a part of that becomes a way that you express yourself. It's not that you're copying their style. You're just pushing yourself in a style that is not your own. You are using your own words, your own characters in the safety of a style that you respect and you know it works for you. It's not as easy as it reads, but it's a good strategy. It's the shadowing technique. And I don't know if some of you have used it already, but for example, I never write poetry, but there was a period I was reading a lot of Bukowski. And there was one day, for some reason I was inspired. I wrote a poem. And the next day when I read it again, the poem had the style of Bukowski. Even though it wasn't his words, it wasn't his narrative, it wasn't his story, you could see that it had the style of him because I was affected. And then I researched and found out that this is a technique. So feel free to use it and explore with it, and also feel very happy when you fail at it. Because when you fail, it means you're exploring new styles that you don't like. And then one time you will explore a new style that you will be like, yes, this is it. Because you will say, this is not something I like, but this is something I like. And then you can change your style, because this can be also a tool for writers that are stuck in a specific prose, in a specific style, in a specific way of delivering their text. And by copying another one, you go out of your comfort zone and maybe you rediscover your words and your style outside of your crafted audience, if you want to do that, because others are comfortable in what they write. Sometimes, though, we are stuck and we don't know why, and we get frustrated, and there is not the time for all these exercises, and we have to deliver something. It's not all about our creative project. So I also present to you the 5 whys. It's like, I can't tell you my problem. I get stuck creatively when I have to prepare a workshop, because I can't decide what I want to share from all of the things I'm using, or from all the things I consider important. How do I choose 3? What will resonate to the audience? So why am I stuck? And then I had to ask myself, why am I stuck? Because I'm overwhelmed. Why am I overwhelmed? Because I'm trying to do many things at once, or I try to put too much information at once. Why do I try to put too much information at once? So I'm at the 3rd one. Because I don't have a clear idea of what I wish to achieve through this implementation of this workshop, or because I don't have a clear idea who are my participants yet. It could be the answer. Why I don't have clear idea? Because I don't have enough information about our target group to know what they really want. Why that? Because I tried to read that because something is blocked. Because I haven't finished the necessary research and suffer from imposter syndrome. So by the 5th why, without answering, it's like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Then my answer to why I'm stuck is because I need to complete my research plan, have comprehensive information in relation to the target group and their expectations before moving forward with any other projects. But I cannot find myself to draft this workshop if I don't know my target group, if I cannot customize it, if I don't connect. And it could be that it goes like, I'm overwhelmed because I don't know this information. It's like, but you cannot have it before, comes the feedback. And then it's like, then I will plan my workshop to get this information at the beginning. That's my answer. So I can craft it. So sometimes the reason we are stuck is because we are overwhelmed and we have the feeling, but we don't go deeper. And personally, I don't find easy this process. I find it painful every time I do it. But, and usually I will have my answer and deal with it a couple of days after if I have the luxury. But it is a good process, especially when we're stuck. And you can do it. We've already switched on Medium. This is the end of the presentation, but I also had a couple of other suggestions. And for this, I will stop presenting and just have my camera. The way that we did with the find different uses or combine objects, take a walk, take a pause, ask yourself why. You can also kind of trick your brain to make different connections in a physical way. So if you always clasp your hands in this way, which is the normal way, all fingers, the one interweaving with the other, just by coming and I bring now my one hand to weave lower and holding it. Try it. It feels weird. It feels not normal. I mean, I've done it enough times so it feels okay. But if I go, for example, to do it now, which I haven't done it, to the lowest fingers, it also feels weird. And I will do it and be uncomfortable for like a couple of seconds before I go, ah, this is weird. But already my brain did something that was not used to. And the next time I do it is a bit more comfortable in it. And I just trick it. I'll try to do something that you are not using your strong skill. If you are folding paper, origami, for example, or if you can make a paper boat and you're right-handed, fold it with your left hand. And it doesn't matter if it will take you ages or if you need to ask for help. Use a different hand. And then go to your normal process and see how that gives you the confidence on how you can explore it. Do something in a different way, basically. Do the same thing you do, but in a different way. Challenge yourself. Personally, from all these tools, a lot of them are part of the innovation thinking culture. And I also don't believe that we create. Yes, creativity, innovation is basically a reinterpretation. We are hanging in the universe in a closed ecosystem, a bubble. Everything is already there. All the lines, even when you paint, all the lines, all the shapes have already been there. What you do, you reinterpret them by rearranging and reorganizing them. And then you create this new image, and then we call it impressionism, or we call it, I don't know a lot about the visual arts, so in English at least, and I get confused, or we call it, for example, Renaissance. But again, what they use, the basic colors combined. It's not as if they created all the colors. And even when you say, I created this shade of blue, it's like, no, you combined the basic materials in a different way, and yes, you created. So that makes me many times feel that whatever I want to create or whatever I'm stuck, I have everything I need. I have all the primary material I need available on this planet, in this body, on this brain, and whatever I don't know, I can ask and learn. And whatever I don't know, I can try and do it. And if I fail, I'll try again. And if I fail, maybe I discover something that I didn't know I could do, because what is failure is my new creativity and my new passion. So it's like, we don't always need to feel that creativity is this perfection. And I love the idea for established artists, especially the ones that had exhibitions in galleries and published a lot of books, and they feel that they're so stuck in that image, to fail your audience. Do the art that will sustain you and bring you what you need to live, if this is the way that you live, but also do something thinking that, you know what, I don't care about the gaze of the audience now. I want to disappoint them and I want to do something totally different from what I'm doing. And if you are secure enough, that was from an artist, of course, as an advice, it was like, be brave enough to exhibit something that will flop. And that will maybe crumble your ego of satisfaction, and then you can move again. But it's okay to fail, and it's okay to present something that is not perfect. And I took also a note that I forgot to mention. I have too many ideas and I lack the focus. You don't have too many ideas. You have the right amount of ideas, and you have all the ideas that you as a human being, as a creative soul, as a creature, can bring to this world and share. It doesn't mean that you are meant also to implement them all. But a good strategy is, at least when you have an idea, you can make a physical move like, aha, or cling, and then that idea, you can write it down or send a message to you, or have a way that somehow your idea book. And when you feel stuck, you can return to those. Or when you're like, what should I do new today? Open that book and be like, idea 1247 that combines music, poetry, and a dancer. Well, we never explored that. Do I know anyone that dances? Let's think. Because sometimes it's like, I had these thousands ideas, now nothing comes up. Write them down. And if you cannot write them down, text them to you. If you don't use mobile phones, paint them. Connect the sound to them. Voice messages, we have so many tools. But creativity is not, it's an acquired skill in a way, but it's also something that we are born with. There is no human that is not creative. There is no human that is not an artist. There is no human that doesn't reinterpret our world through it. So yes, the tools to trick our brain, we are using them because through our educational system, we have been conditioned in a certain mindset. For our survival, we have been conditioned, and then we have to go back on what we need to create. I'm sorry, I get a bit poetic when I describe things. I hope that I didn't. And now the floor is to you if you want to ask things or share how an exercise was for you. If there is a specific way that you feel a blockage that you would like to address, because maybe I have an exercise I forgot and didn't share, the floor is yours, and I'll be silent and just respond to whatever you want to share. Which can also be through the chat. I don't know, maybe we unleashed too much creativity and everyone is around either painting or writing or dancing. That's the other thing. I'm a horrible dancer and a horrible singer. So when I want to unleash my creativity, I try a new dance move by watching TikTok videos. And I will not stop unless I get the move. As horrible as it may be, I have to do the routine. And when I sit to solve the other problem, it seems so much manageable. If I could do that, this is also in my expertise. Okay, so at this point, I think I would like to invite everyone to just open the microphone and say one word as a goodbye to the meeting. And before you go, of course, complete the evaluation form that has been shared in the chat by Elena. And also I want to give the floor to Alessia and thank her for the introduction that gave us the theoretical background of what we explored together to understand that there are the terms of creativity, cognitive and visual and observant and everything. And we combine them also in the practical aspects. So Alessia, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Evita, to you. I think that are really important to explore this kind of exercise that you give us as input. Are really interesting because we can put in our quotidianity, no? We can use also this strategy in our daily life. And yeah, and thank you for this nice and good insight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to share something or any questions to Alessia, me, or Elena.
Okay, so if I can sum up a little bit the procedure. So you're going to receive tomorrow an email, again with the participant list and evaluation form. If you were not able to access these two forms, you can do it through the email. And also you're going to be shared the contacts of Evita and Alessia if you want to have a further discussions with them, or you want to be shared the presentations or the exercises. So thank you very much for your participation. It was a pleasure for us, and you can continue participating in our remaining two trainings, 28th of November and the 1st of December. Thank you very much.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye bye. Have a nice
Goodbye.
evening
Have a nice evening.
and weekend.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao Evita. Gracias.
Alessia, grazie per tutti.
Gracias. See you soon. Bye. Bye, Barbara. Bye bye.